Why do we have to stay home sometimes? You know, it's been a long time since we've been faced collectively, certainly in the West, with a time where we can't necessarily distract ourselves with the exterior whenever and however we like. This is one of those times, you know. I mentioned about 6 months ago in my recession video about how the Capricorn triple conjunction Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter would most likely introduce something that would really show a big decrease in the market, as well as a sort of call within, a call to distract ourselves less. And here we are in March of 2020, moving towards April, seeing that it is so necessary. And it's not necessarily because an individual bubble burst or because, some odd thing happened. It is actually because of a health crisis. And it makes so much sense if you think about it, because as many of us are starting to see, right now, it's a little bit harder than we imagine to not be completely reliant on the public or completely reliant on spaces outside of our home. Okay. You see, Capricorn energy is 10th house energy. It's opposite the 4th house. So this is the 4th, 10th house axis, which deals with how the innermost part of our being channels up and outward, specifically with the 10th house. So when you put such deeply pointed energy, such as Saturn and Pluto especially, into the sign of 10th house Capricorn, it's going to really show clearly where the difficulties are with how we connect to the public, how we connect to outside space. And as they've spent a lot of time in the sign of Capricorn, what that's done is it's put a lot of focus into the outside, into the exterior. And now it's resulted in a depletion of the interior. So here we are at this stage of the game, having to really go within and feeling perhaps a bit uncomfortable there, seeing how reliant we are on the outside, seeing how reliant we are on other people, and how society is a delicate web of reliances and dependencies on other people. And even though, as I make this video, we are not in an emergency yet, a complete emergency, even though we still have our basic needs met and can still meet our basic needs, I think that there has been a general anxiety and a general fear that has come out relating to, what if? What if there wasn't the grocery store? What if the grocery store was empty? What if the restaurant was closed? What if the public music event didn't happen, next month that I've bought tickets to? What if I can't go to the amusement park with my family? What if I, can't go and get the $8 coffee tomorrow morning like I do every morning? What if I can't go and have someone prepare food for me in the restaurant? What if I can't, just drive my car away from the house and forget about what I'm leaving behind at home? What if I can't do all of those things? What if I can't depend on other people to cover up and make me forget about what I'm leaving at home? This is why a pandemic or a virus or a disease becomes prolific, just like in an individual. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the microcosmic of this more macrocosmic experience that we're dealing with. So when an individual becomes highly dependent on exterior circumstances, getting out of the house, leaving, distracting themselves from everything, they will begin to get ill. They'll get a thyroid problem. They'll get an adrenal problem. They'll get an endocrine problem. They'll get cancer if it goes on for decades and decades. And this is what's happening macrocosmically. And that's not at all to say that leaving the house or having, extroverted experiences is a bad thing. It's necessary. We have social needs as humans, but when those social needs become social dependencies to help us cover up and forget about what we're leaving behind, this is when the universe steps in and prevents us from leaving the house so that we can face what we've not been able to face for a long time, so that we can tell the truth to ourselves. What I sense collectively and what I see in the lives of people around me, as well as myself, is there's sort of a covering of the ears and a covering of the eyes about what our true own inner momentum looks like. And what really helps to cover our ears and our eyes to things is a dependency on public extroverted experiences. So leaving the house, going to work, buying things, having other people prepare our meals for us, having other people prepare everything for us, spending all of our paycheck so that we can be dependent on the public. These are the things that we cover our ears and eyes with proverbially. And now that those things are a little bit threatened, and we all feel an instinct, because we're all feeling an instinct right now, to do a bit of social distancing, to stay in a bit more, to not put ourselves in front of too many people. We are all feeling down and gloomy and in the dumps because of it. And I am here to challenge you today to find self-sufficiency here as much as you can, because we are not in an emergency yet. That could change. Again, as I film this is March 14th, 2020. I don't know when you'll be watching this, but we still have total capability to provide for ourselves, to cook our own meals, to have entertainment in the home. I assume you're watching this video on YouTube right now. There's a lot of entertaining things in your sidebar right now. That's still there. We have a lot of opportunities to look within, perhaps to journal, perhaps to look at where we've been for the last few years, or to look at why it is so terrifying for us to stay in the house. I want you to sit with that for a minute. Not everybody's there. Again, I'm not going to project on what everybody's feeling. Some people are like, yes, I'll take my vacation now. I'm so happy to be in the house. I'm so happy to be pulling back and not being so public. There are totally some people who are there. But I will say that a lot of those people, after about 3 days, there's something about that 3-day mark, start to feel this way too, because we are so accustomed and addicted to social dependency. I challenge you. I challenge you to see how this could be a backhanded fortune, okay? One of my great astrologer friends talks about the theme of backhanded fortune with Jupiter in Capricorn, and the general Capricorn stellium. How might this time of seclusion, solitude, time to look at where you've come from and where you want to go, how might that actually really be so fortunate for you right now? What's so important when we're facing a public health crisis is to maintain our own sense of health. So to be depressed, or to allow yourself to let being inside more make your mental health or emotional health spiral, is to make yourself more open to the health problem itself. So we've got to look at this as an opportunity, and we've got to look at this as a time of reflection and a time of orientation with where we're going, what we're doing, and what our own truths are, because there's a lot of self-lying, okay? In a year like this, where we have this Capricorn triple conjunction, there's a lot of ambition. There's a lot of, I want to get here. There's a lot of linear fixed path. And something like this, a roadblock, an obstacle, less opportunity to be public, 10th house, can seem like a disruption of that fixed linear path. And from what I understand is it's actually the best opportunity to create, and I should probably say cardinal linear path, but you guys understand what I mean. And when you disrupt such a concentrated, ambitious energy, it can kind of implode on itself. And then that's where the 4th house comes in, because when the 10th house implodes, it falls to its other side of the axis, it falls to the 4th house. So those of us who have 4th house placements will be fortunate, but also all of us will be tested in our 4th house, okay? All of us will be tested in our sense of home, our sense of solitude, our sense of loneliness, being alone. At what point in time does loneliness happen? How self-sufficient are we? How much can we actually do for ourselves? Because I will say, and I can't speak for the entire world, but here where I am in the United States, we are way too entirely dependent on other people. I would say every individual relies on about 20 or 30 different people to keep themselves together every day. So whether it comes to shopping, having people make food for you, having people make coffees for you, having people, fix your car for you, having people do all these things. Of course, the service industry is important. The service industry is wonderful. Okay, I'm not putting down the service industry, but we are not self-sufficient, and that is just the fact. And here's a time where we have to become a bit more self-sufficient, and that can be a nice growing experience. You just have to keep your mind under control. So what this video is just a slight stream of consciousness with some things perhaps to meditate on, and a challenge, okay? A challenge to not have all of this sensory stimulation around all of these signs as we're driving, all of these traffic, all the traffic. The traffic is kind of going away. And the thing about traffic is it really distracts you from thinking about important things. You got to think about, I'm turning here, I'm turning left here, I'm turning right here, I'm going to pass this car here, and I'm not thinking about any of the bigger themes in my life during that time, So here's a time we go within, we're in the house, we're alone, or we're with our family, and there's no traffic, okay? There's no traffic. And some of us get really worried and overcome and angst-ridden to not have to deal with traffic. Because then all we can do is look within. And all we can do is see the facts of our own life and the facts of our own existence. So yeah, there's an existential crisis for many people during this time. But I will say it is important to distance yourself right now. It is important to be home more. As I'm making this video, we are coming towards the last chapter of Pisces season. So there's an really, really important lesson that if we can learn here at late Pisces season, I see a direct resolution coming to the public health crisis that we have right now within a month or two. It's all going to be about how we choose to embrace the fourth house lessons that come in at this time. All right, everyone, I think that that's a good place to conclude. Again, I'm just going to leave you with that challenge to see this as a fortunate opportunity, okay? To see this as a time to really get things straight and get things clear and get things in order for yourself about how you feel towards yourself. It's not easy to not depend on others. We're really meant sometimes to depend on others as humans, and it's tough to not have that as much, which we still have quite a lot of that as I'm coming to you now. But we have less of it, and that just has to be so. And why is it okay to stay home sometimes? Just so you can see what is right for you and you can sort of see your own soul's momentum, because that is very unclear for a lot of people right now, which is so clear to me that why the universe would introduce some type of health problem like this. It's so we can truly see ourselves, right? Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for being here. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please hit that red subscribe button and hit the thumbs up if you liked this message. Also, comment below, let me know any discoveries that you've had as you've distanced yourself more, as you've gone through this, and let's turn it into something that's helpful and something that is kind and awakening to ourselves at this time, instead of something that is, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to go to Disneyland. Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to go to the restaurant. Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to go to Coachella or whatever it is. Come on, guys. Not everyone's there, but come on. All right, everyone, I'll talk to you soon. Much love. Bye.